Hello, welcome to 94.9 32 FM. I am Peter Omo. Of course, we'll go again this weekend as we talk about all the headlines from the world of sport, the last Friday in the month of June. So you want to take a look at all events that happened in the month of June. Of course, remember that June the 1st was all about the UEFA Champions League, and then we had the Club World Cup. Not done with that, still continues this weekend because the round of 16 games will start on Saturday, and we'll talk about that on the show. And when your team don't survive the English Premier League, you just know that your future is up there, not certain yet. So today, with Van Nistelrooy was told to go by the Foxes, that you know what, your job is done, and so we'll look for another manager as the fixtures for the championship were out in the last few days. So for Leicester City, former Premier League champion, not playing in the Premier League is not one they want to see. They want to get back in the next 12 months, and so the search for a new manager continues there at the King Power Stadium. But talking about one team who lost their manager, but in the Premier League, Brentford, earlier today they announced the signing of Kent Andrews as their new head coach for the next 3 years. So was Frank take the move from one end of London to another end of London. And so for Brentford, without wasting much time, they've got their man. The man's job is to keep some of the players who want to make a move away from the GTEC Stadium. We'll wait to see. I've got SAMIES there with me on the show. We also count down to XW19, the third Grand Slam for the year 2025. On grass, not on clay, not on hard, but we're going to see the guys play on lush green. And of course, they come with a different attire for this year's, as usual, the XW19. So these and many more we share with you this final coming up this weekend here in Lagos. Okay, I say here in Lagos, not Ibadan, is where I am at the moment. So in Lagos, we'll be having the FA Cup final. Usually, when you have the FA Cup final, you should have Lagos shut down. But I don't know, maybe these guys can shut down Lagos. Abakaliki, yes, I repeat, Abakaliki coming from Ebonyi State will be playing against Kwara United. And so I don't know, maybe these two names can shut Lagos down. But Lagos will be the final. That will be 4 p.m. on Saturday. SAMIES, it's a pleasure having you joining me on the show. The Super Falcons have got one friendly game before we start the WAFCON for the year 2025. SAMIES, the Club World Cup, let's start with that. Round of 16 completed in the early hours of this morning. City beat Juventus by 5-2. So, in short, just avoid Real. And then Real got their game done against Salzburg in the early hours of this morning by 3-0. Pachuca lost to Al Hilal by 2-0. So right now is all completed. So SAMIES, let's run through all of these. Finally, we have the round of 16 games. We're done with that. African teams home, Argentine teams home, the Qatari side not going home also, but the Saudi former Saudi champion also back, staying put, not going anywhere. So SAMIES, quickly, I don't know what will be the top of the round of 16 game for you. There's Benfica against Chelsea, that will be on Saturday. There's Juventus who will be playing against Real. So I don't know which one is your pick for the round of 16 for this year's Club World Cup.
All right, good afternoon, Peter. Good afternoon to everyone who has joined us on today's edition of the show. Well, as regards to the FIFA Club World Cup, yes, from all the games that went down there in the group stage, to this moment in which we are, that's the round of 16 teams, of course, making it this far in the competition. Well, for me, if you ask me which game definitely would be it, well, it would be a game that has a team from both regions playing against each other. It's a derby where we talk about Palmeiras against Botafogo.
That's two teams from the same
country,
same league.
So that's actually would top it for me, because we know the intensity and also the masterclass in which these Brazilian sides they actually possess. And to say that from South American football, we had 6 teams qualified from South American football, 2 from Argentina, 4 from Brazil, and all 4 Brazilian sides made it into the round of 16. And you say that this is also a testament of how good their league is, and also maybe how beautiful it is that top European sides go into the Brazilian league to actually scout for a few players whom, of course, and now we know them to be household names there in the world of football. So for me, I would pick out the game between Palmeiras and Botafogo. But then you ask me for another game in which I would actually have my eyes on. Well, maybe Flamengo against Bayern Munich. Now that would be another game, because for Bayern, I see their struggle against the fellow Brazilian side that they played earlier in the Club World Cup. That's they played against the Argentine side, rather. That's Boca Juniors. In which the game ended 2-1. They managed to get their victory, and it was a good one for them. But from this Club World Cup, 147 goals were scored in the group stage, and definitely tell that's a really lots of goals scored in the group stage of a football competition. And then the side that with the biggest victory, of course, happens to be Bayern Munich against the so-called Gel boys, like you do see. And for Manchester City, they were the highest goal scorers in the group stage, scoring 13 goals. Bayern Munich scoring 12 goals. And Juventus, the old ladies who lost yesterday, scoring 11 goals. But the best of defense, the team that considered the lesser number of goals, you say that Paris Saint-Germain, Al Hilal, and Monterrey, these sides, they considered just one goal en route to the round of 16. And the clean sheets, we had 10 teams. But of these 10 teams, we have an African side also keeping 2 clean sheets in 3 games at the Club World Cup. That's talking about Mamelodi Sundowns. So it's definitely a good one where we talk about the FIFA Club World Cup. And at this stage we are now, I'm very sure that it is a go hard or go home for all of those sides. A one-legged affair. You go out or you go home. Just win your games and ensure that you are in the next round of the FIFA Club World Cup, which would be at the quarterfinals.
So what it means is that there are no second chances. You go into the game, you either play 90 minutes or you go one extra 30, make it 120, and then go into shootout. We can go anywhere. And the other team, Sam is also, maybe didn't mention, has to do with Manchester City. Yesterday, we were talking about no team. With maximum winning all three games. And we said we have to wait for City against Juventus because those two have won their 2 opening games, and it was the citizens that prevailed. I watched the game yesterday for both sides. Maybe enjoyable to some extent, and I take a look at the City squad, SAMIES, and I begin to say to myself, like Pep also alluded to it after the game. He talked about how they feel better now. They feel good now. They feel that this is the City that they wanted to see, but they did not last season. He said he had the players now. Everybody is happy. The mood has changed. And I take a look at the playing staff, SAMIES. Maybe you can also do yourself as I'm talking now. It's just like for like, quality for quality. And I was watching yesterday night, and I say to myself, who is going to beat this City? And Pep has got 1 year left in his contract, right? So maybe the plan for Pep is to win the Champions League, to win the Premier League, to win the FA Cup, to win the Cup game. Oh, look at Sammy. If only you can see him on video now, the way he's reacted. I think this is just a good squad not to win the FA Champions League, Sammy.
Well, a good squad, I would look at it and say maybe not the best squad. But Sammies, they have a manager.
Phil Foden came on yesterday and scored.
Peter, they have a manager whom the entire world of football, they fear is masterclass. That's Pep Guardiola. That's an influence on all of these players. And so for those players who came in during the winter transfer window for the 2024-25 season, and during this summer transfer window, the likes of Omar Mamouche, we had Savio early last season, Ryan Aitnori, Tijani Reinders. You look at all of these players and say that they know the City that Pep Guardiola has managed in recent years. They were winners. Yeah. They are winners. And so this is a new generation of players, I must say, because for Bernardo Silva to actually say yesterday that right after the game that this is actually a good squad, and that the players who are on board, they are a breath of fresh air, and they are young and they can achieve so many things together. I'm not thinking that away. But then we look at the setup for Manchester City. Yesterday, fine. The Algerian fullback Ryan Aitnori started, Manuel Akanji, Ruben Dias, Matheus Nunes. This is another player who is presently playing out of position.
And he's playing well.
He's playing well.
And some will remind you that the goal that got them to the Champions League was the goal he scored against Aston Villa. And one man we have not mentioned in all of this equation is Jack Grealish. He was left back in England to maybe sort his future.
That definitely is not in the plans for Manchester City.
So when when I said like for like, when I say quality for quality, Phil Foden came on yesterday and he scored.
Haaland came on, he scored.
Ike Godohan came on for Rodri.
See,
Mamouche on the Mamouche began the
Savio,
game. Haaland was on the bench and he came on and he scored.
Peter, this is.
Tell me the whole team in England as we speak right now, Sam, is the team in England now that have got that kind of quality.
Manchester City.
Yes, I'm saying the City I'm talking about. So
Yeah, they have the quality.
Yeah,
but then.
And you mentioned that you have a manager also.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's a big advantage.
You give these players, you take them to another team, or you pick individuals out of this team.
When Cherki came from Olympique Lyon, they didn't do badly in the UEFA Cup.
He was their best player, right? It was their best player.
Was the best also
player
for AC
Milan, right?
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. These guys are the best.
Is not new to the Premier League.
How many of these guys will go to another team and they throw themselves as an automatic starter?
Oh, come on.
This is because of the struggles of Manchester City. Peter, see, let's not take anything away from. I'm not taking anything away from what Manchester City they've done in the time past. But what Guardiola is doing now is trying to rebuild the squad. Remember the last season, they signed a contract extension, extending it by 2 years, and then a year rather.
Yeah.
And so at the end of this last season, he had the likes of Lenders and Kolo Touré join his backroom staff. And I've seen footage of these guys actually giving instructions that's on the training ground. And I say that this is actually a good addition for this team. But what I'm saying is, so Rodri,
hold a bit. You just helped my argument there. I said these are quality guys who join City. Hold on. And you just mentioned a key point for me. Pep Lenders. From club's right hand man. You remember
Liverpool,
how had them win the Champions, had them win the league. He's now with City. That's the winner joining the winner. There's Kolo Touré. Of course, he just finished his coaching badge and all that. So that's another quality again in terms of the backroom staff.
For the Club World Cup, I'm not going to maybe rate the Manchester City squad from what I'm seeing at the Club World Cup. I'm not going to judge based on that. But I want to see them go on a stretch of 35 games in the league to see how I can judge. No, not about unbeaten. No, I'm not talking about them going unbeaten.
35 games to assess them.
See, they've got the talent. They've got everything within their ranks. They were not right last season, but this summer they are trying to rewrite their wrongs, trying to put everything in order. So I look at this squad. Like I said, for Omar Mamouche, yes, the season starts. Is he going to start games compared to what Erling Haaland would start?
I am not talking about starting games now, SAMIES. It's about when the coach take a look at the back.
See,
take a look at the bench.
For the coach. Now, I would also back it up. For the coach, taking a look at the bench. Remember, for Pep Guardiola also, he has come out to say that he wants his squad trimmed down. He doesn't like the fact that he leaves players at home. He wants it trimmed down. So you say that there are still few players who are going to leave this Manchester City
who's going to leave
squad.
Silva, that we thought was going to leave, is now the captain of the side. Ederson just spoke this week before the game against Juventus that is going nowhere. He's going to stay at City. So who is going to leave this team?
Peter.
Who's going to leave? Jack Grealish, we know, is out. So who's going to leave this team?
Before the end of the summer transfer window, we'll see players who would leave Manchester City. We would see players who will leave Manchester City.
So I'll be here to see if that will happen.
But I'm not taking anything away because, yes, I want to see the statement by Pep Guardiola and also the Manchester City squad from how they fumbled last season. And I want to see them make something right next season. They are not the only one. I want to see how challenging the league also would be. Remember, for Liverpool, they've made that so much. What is it called?
You know what came about the statement from Pep when he said, he doesn't like 7 of his players, senior players, when you look back, they were not dressed for games. The meaning is that he wants all of his players available for him. Not that he wants to put the team, trim them down to a size. No, he wants the big squad so that he can pick. Last season, you know how many times Haaland went out? Rodri was able to play for 9 months. Yesterday was his first start in 9 months. You know how Nathan Ake could not play many games. Who else again in that team? Akanji was out at a point in time. And Sam is one player we have also not mentioned, is John Stones. Okay. All right, so we wait to see all of this, how they will happen. Let's quickly move on. Best decision for Leicester to start with Van Nistelrooy, so we can jump to other headlines?
Well, I would say it's not really the best because what would they have him do? That was last season.
But for me, I think it was even late.
Yeah, it
and
was.
they tell him go. What point staying to June?
Exactly. But then I don't think there is going to. It's not the best for Ruud van Nistelrooy, because you look at him. He's the only man that I am not happy. I'm not happy with the situation in which he found himself. Not like Manchester United, who let him go, did so well after his departure. They didn't do so well after his departure. Right. Maybe Manchester United would have saved themselves by keeping Ruud van Nistelrooy, because we know that, yes, he is a manager. He won something with PSV Eindhoven while in Netherlands, and then he worked as an assistant to 𝐿erik ten Hag, and to remain at the club side maybe would have been the perfect choice for Manchester United. But Manchester United rather looked outside and picked up Ruben Amorim of Portugal, and I say that it was not a win-win situation for all the parties. Manchester United, Ruben Amorim, and also Ruud van Nistelrooy.
All right, so Ruud is gone. He was unable to keep the team in the Premier League, so it's gone. But of course, for Kent, Andrews is new to the Premier League. So I mean, this is going to be a tough one for him. Experience, I know we'll talk about this. So one of the things we'll be hoping to do.
Remember, I said while Thomas Frank was going to depart Brentford, I said it is a tradition for Brentford to look inward and pick a manager to actually be the top coach of the club side. This man joined them last season, 2024-25. He joined the Bees last season to work as a set-piece coach under Thomas Frank. And this is him now being given that role to lead the team. And now maybe we'll say that we will see more of Brentford being a set-piece team. Because but it's not also going to be the best for them now, because I look at two sides that I feel pity for just before the season starts. Brentford one, and also Bournemouth.
Okay, for Bournemouth, because of our time, we'll not be able to talk about that, because I also put that down at the points, but because of the time, we'll not be able to jump. Bournemouth selling players, 4 of the back 5, the goalkeeper, the out, Kepa to Arsenal, Kakes to Liverpool, Dean Hudson to Madrid, Ilya Izabani to Ukrainian to Paris Saint-Germain. So what is left? So wait to see how Iralo and Andoni Iraola will be able to put money back into the market and get some of these maybe not to quality but average players who can come to the side and make them tick like the Spaniard did for 24-25 football season. So SAMIES quickly here. Before we talk about the FA Cup this weekend, Crystal Palace will get their verdict later today from UEFA to stay in the UEFA Cup or drop down to the UEFA Conference League.
Well, this I remember since 2 weeks now, it has been a continued conversation between what will happen to Crystal Palace. Well, I feel it would be right also for a side who actually gave it their sweat last season to win the English FA Cup, their first their first since existence. They defeated the almighty Manchester City a goal to nil, and at the end of the day, you're coming out to say that they won't play in the UEFA Europa League, and for that to actually not happen, John Textor, the man who had the majority stake within Crystal Palace, he sold his shares off that club side. And it just happens that maybe John Textor would count himself as a loser now, but definitely he is not a loser. He still has Botafogo, that's in the Brazilian league. But then, the verdict, I don't know how it's going to pan out later tonight, later before the end of today. But one thing is, I would really want to see Crystal Palace play the UEFA Europa League, because they earned that right to play in that top European competition. And then it would also be greater to see those players that they have in their disposal: Dean Henderson, Munoz, Jean-Philippe Mateta, Eberechi Eze, whom of course there has been a lot of talks surrounding his name. Maybe he's going to go back to his boyhood club Arsenal, where he actually was an academic graduate. And then talk about who else? Daichi Kamanda, Will Hughes, lots of players within that.
Can I mention indicator?
𝐿𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐿.
Can I
but then you can mention him, and also for a manager who won the UEFA Europa League with Eintracht Frankfurt, it would also be greater to actually see him there. So I don't want them to lose out that spot because it's not going to be good also.
So whatever
for
happens
the effort.
after the judgment today, they can appeal. That the news is that they might just, if it doesn't work, if it doesn't go their way, they'll drop down to the Conference League and wait to see. Maybe they will appeal if that's the case. But we'll keep tabs on that, and of course we'll share with you once we have something from that verdict later today from the UEFA HQ. All right, so SAMIES, let's quickly wrap up. Not wrap up because we still have a few more minutes. So the FA Cup final this weekend in Lagos. I spoke about shut down or no shut down. Can these two names shut down any parts of Lagos?
Well, maybe not, but I look at it and say that if people are going to come out in mass to watch that game, it's just for the fun of it and the fact that we don't have maybe top European regular season ongoing at this moment. So, but it's actually.
But 5 tomorrow is the first game of the.
That's Palmeiras against Botafogo.
Yeah, you never can tell because 4 o'clock is the final. 5 is that game.
But for me, it's not only that one game going on tomorrow. We have the Women's President Federations Cup final also going on, and that will come earlier. And also the men, where definitely the attention would be on the so-called underdogs are going into this game. That's Abakaliki Football Club, whom are not in the top division. And this would be back-to-back years now where we would have sides that are not in the top division playing in that's the finals of the Presidents of Federations Cup. 2 seasons, or last season, I would say it was 𝐿 Warriors who actually played in the Presidents of Federations Cup, and they won. And that gave them the right to play in the CAF Confederations Cup, where they were able to make it into the group stage. But for now, Abakaliki Football Club, not like they are getting promotion back into the top flight.
They are not.
But now, let's see the plot twist there. If they qualify or if they win, and I want to see how they are going to manage all of those things that are going to come afterwards, winning the President's Federations Cup.
All right, so for the girls, a few of them are in Hamburg, Germany, for WTA 500. Once they are done, they'll find their way to London. SAMIES, what are you expecting next W19?
What am I expecting? Maybe not the best. The Marketa Vondrousova is out because of an injury, and that's the defending champion. And then I look at it and say that, okay, going into that the grass season, maybe I would actually pit Coco Golfer once again to actually get far. And Aryna Sabalenka, it's just quite unfortunate for what this woman has faced in. That's the first major.
There's Jessica Pegula, there's Madison Keys.
There's also Naomi Osaka. We talked about the inconsistency in the women's game. Yeah. And I think maybe in recent years in both the men's and the women's games. But I want to see how these top guns are going to fare. Since 2021, I dare say that I've not been impressed with the Minister of Happiness. That's Ons Jabbar from Tunisia.
I don't know I don't know you call her Minister of Happiness.
Oh, we call her Minister of Happiness.
Yeah, she should be playing football. She has this look. Maybe she can help the Tunisian team.
But I'm not impressed because from the back of getting to that's
2 finals.
2 finals.
Yeah.
How far have you gone again?
She lost one to the Kazakhstan lady. I'm trying to remember her name now. Forget the Kazakhstan lady who defeated her in 2-1 in that final XW19. But don't forget also, talking about XW19, 32 FM, of course, in partnership with the BBC, will bring you a 5-minute daily of this is third Grand Slam of the year. The BBC will help us with 5-minute package, and so you hear all of that on this show when we come for Scoreboard in 15. So SAMIES, let's wrap up the show in like a minute. And when I saw this, I said, is this same job some people are doing? And I'm just taking a look at the lucrative contract of Cristiano Ronaldo, and I begin to see things. I begin to say, this football, 178 million British pounds per year, 3.4 million British pounds a week, 15% ownership of Al Nassr expected to be worth 33 million British pounds, 24.5 million sign-on fee. SAMIES increasing to 38 million if you activate the second year of his contract. £80,000 bonus per goal increase by 20% in second year. £40,000 bonus per assist increase by 20% in second year. £80 million bonus if Al-Nassr win the Saudi Pro League title. £4 million bonus if he wins the Saudi Pro League Golden Boot, which I think he can. 6.5 million bonus if Al-Nassr qualify for Asian Champions League and win it. 16 people working full-time for him, including 3 drivers, 4 housekeepers, 2 chefs, 3 gardeners, and 4 security people. £4 million worth of private jet expense covered by the club. £16 million worth of sponsorship deals promised by Al-Nassr with new Saudi companies and companies in the Asian market. SAMIES, goodbye. We'll see you guys when we come. You get nothing to say, say nothing. We'll see you guys on Saturday, 3 p.m. The BBC will help us with all the content. And of course, Krista will be here 5 to 6 for more headlines from the world of sport. We'll call it again. Coming up is the news. After the news, we've got some good music for you. Oh, I don't know how many people are going home because it's public holiday, but I know for a few folks who still have got job to do, your way home, we've got good music. And of course, if you're also home, you also enjoy every bit of the music we'll bring to you once we're done with the news. I've done this with SAMIES. I am Peter Omo.